Longtime California Senator Dianne Feinstein passes away. We'll take a look back at her legacy and bring you reaction from Capitol Hill. Good morning. I'm Adrian Arambula. In our breaking news, we are remembering California Senator Dianne Feinstein, a pioneer in politics. The senator died at the age of 90. She was a vocal advocate of gun control measures who was known for trying to find common ground with Republicans during her 3 decades in the Senate. NBC's Andrea Mitchell has more on the life and legacy of Senator Feinstein.
Dianne Feinstein, a leading woman senator for generations, whose political career in California was launched by tragedy. November 1978, San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and Board of Supervisors member Harvey Milk were assassinated in City Hall. Then Board of Supervisors President Dianne Feinstein tried desperately to save Milk's life.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
The event cementing her passion for gun reform. She was elected mayor and became a national figure on Democratic nominee Walter Mondale's shortlist for running mate before he chose Geraldine Ferraro.
I've had an opportunity now to be the first woman and the first mayor to be asked to go through an interview process. And I view that as a major opening of a door and something that's very important to do.
It was the Clarence Thomas hearings before an all-male Senate Judiciary Committee in 1991 that got Feinstein to the Senate, as she recalled in 2018.
And what did I see but an all-male Senate Judiciary Committee grilling Anita Hill? And it was not nice, and it was not what one would like to see. And that was my incentive to run in 1992.
After her decisive Senate win, then-Senator Joe Biden made her the first woman on the Judiciary Committee. In Congress, she quickly made an impact, leading the charge for an assault weapons ban in 1994. As Senate Intelligence Chair, she took on the CIA's waterboarding of prisoners, holding hearings into the Bush administration's harsh interrogation techniques. But in later years, colleagues faulted her performance during Supreme Court confirmations, praising Republican Lindsey Graham for getting Trump nominee Amy Coney Barrett confirmed just weeks before the 2020 election.
This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in.
But through political and personal trials, Dianne Feinstein's legacy as a trailblazer endures. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
Senator Dianne Feinstein was one of the most amazing people who ever graced the Senate, who ever graced the country. She had so many amazing, wonderful qualities wrapped up in one incredible human being. She was smart. She was strong. She was brave. She was compassionate. But maybe the trait that stood out most of all was her amazing integrity. Her integrity was a diamond. Her integrity shone like a beacon across the Senate and across the country for all to see and hopefully emulate.
That was Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer sharing his thoughts on Senator Feinstein's passing after leading a prayer and moment of silence. And Governor Newsom released a statement. It says in part, "There's simply nobody who possessed the poise, gravitas, and fierceness of Dianne Feinstein. Jennifer and I are deeply saddened by her passing, and we will mourn with her family in this difficult time." Well, politicians are in mourning and talking about the senator all over the country, and many of them will be in Anaheim for California's GOP Convention Friday. Former President Trump will be one of 3 presidential candidates there. The former president is scheduled to address attendees at a luncheon between noon and 1:30. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott is expected to speak around 3 p.m. and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis closer to 7 o'clock p.m. The GOP convention comes just days after 7 Republican candidates faced off in a primary debate earlier this week at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley. The debate focused on the economy, the border, crime, and issues with the current administration. Now, missing on that stage was Trump, who is the current frontrunner. He was in Michigan working to win over blue-collar voters in the middle of the auto workers' strike. But now the former president will be back at his first California GOP convention since 2016. The event is already drawing in crowds from both sides, supporting the party and countering demonstrators outside. The convention goes through Sunday. The U.S. government could shut down this weekend if Congress does not pass a short-term funding deal. The prospects of avoiding a shutdown seem bleak at this point. The Senate is advancing a bipartisan stopgap bill to fund the government at least through mid-November, but many Republicans in the House are strongly opposing the bill, including Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The House leader says he is not going to take up the Senate legislation. Instead, he says he's going to bring his own short-term funding bill to the floor today. And major pain at the pump. Drivers in LA are paying 28 cents more per gallon to fill up compared to Monday, but relief could be coming soon. Governor Newsom is calling on state regulators to switch to the winter fuel blend 1 month early to offset soaring prices. Now, the switch typically doesn't happen until November 1st. The blend is lower grade and cheaper to produce, and experts say it could lower prices by 25 cents a gallon or more. Republican lawmakers are calling for the state's gas tax to be temporarily suspended. We have a major cool down and a chance for rain for the weekend. Here's meteorologist Belen de Leon with your first alert forecast.
Hi everyone, we're saying goodbye to September and hello October with some big weather changes. Over the weekend, the temperatures will be much colder, highs in the 60s and 70s, and there's a chance for some scattered light showers. Can't rule out the chance for an isolated thunderstorms, but accumulations, if any, will generally be light, not looking at the threat of any flooding or any mudslides. About 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch is expected. And then there's the winds. We're going to have some gusty conditions, especially Saturday for the mountains and deserts, but strong winds possible at the coast as well. Now look at the trend, because in Van Nuys, Friday, a transitional 75-degree day, but over the weekend, highs in the 60s and 70s. If you're a fan of the cooler weather, enjoy it, because look at next week. The weather starts to warm right back up again. And the odd thing is that we're starting off a new month, so here we are looking at the weather for the first week of October. It's going to feel a little like summer as highs get back into the 90s.
Friday is the last day to submit applications for Orange County's housing voucher program. The federally supported program assists low-income families, the elderly, and people with disabilities in affording housing by covering part of the rent. The waiting list limited to 12,000 people, and applicants will be selected randomly for the vouchers. You can get more information by going to NBCLA.com and search OC Vouchers. A dog walker shot and killed a homeless man in Garden Grove. This happened Thursday afternoon on Catella Avenue near Brookhurst Street. A gun was recovered at the scene as the investigation went into the night. Police say a man walking his dog got into a confrontation with the homeless man and shot him.
That was mentioned at the scene that he does have a CCW, but again, we have not confirmed that, so that is still under further investigation.
Normal, nice man. I even met him too one time. He comes in the corner when it's hot. He takes, a break in the shade and stuff. I say hi to him. He says hi back. I go to the guy, the dog walker. I said, what happened? He said, he tried to attack me, so I shot him.
Well, the man who fired the gun did stay at that scene and is cooperating with the investigation. And a huge win for fast food workers in California. A new law signed yesterday will raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour. It takes effect next April. The law will impact more than 500,000 workers in the state. A recent study said fast food workers in California make an average of $16.20 an hour.
This is our blood, this is our sweat, and this is our tears. This is our tears, all our fussing and fighting. This is our fight today.
The law will also create a fast food council, which will ensure workplace protections. The council has the authority to raise wages 3.5% a year through 2029. And we are celebrating Hispanic heritage here on NBC4 and Telemundo 52. The illustration company Hola Mijas Bonitas started as an inspiration to be different. Today, it has exploded into a national brand. NBC4's Christian Cáceres spoke with the Latina behind this project.
There's room for everybody. As Latinos, we have to open the door for everybody, and that's my goal.
Inside this tiny San Fernando Valley apartment is a big imagination. Claudia Ramos taking us into her world of Hola Mijas Bonitas.
Because it all started from one character, which is based off you.
Yeah, Claudia, that's me. It was like all my upbringing from LA, because I used to have hoop earrings, I used to put lollipops in my hair.
But this colorful character was always a distraction from Ramos's real-life career. Graduating from Cal State Northridge, her skills helped her land a job in corporate America.
17 years in the corporate world, and I got to do with art, but also graphic design. So it was a lot of stuff doing in computers. But on the side, I was also sketching.
These are not just like your regular companies. I mean, you're talking about big powerhouse companies.
Yes. Well, being humble, but yeah, I worked for Hasbro. I was there for 6 years. American Greetings, I was working there for 3 years. I worked at Forever 21 and eHarmony.
Her passion was to spread joy and happiness, and at the same time, she says something was missing when her pitches to create more diverse designs, like Claudia, were turned down.
I went to a Jim Henson meeting for another, like a brainstorm for somebody. And they saw a sticker that I had with me in my bag, and like outside my bag. And they were like, oh my God, isn't that cute? And I was like, to me, that was like a check mark that they saw something in my mijas. So I went home and I like went online and bought the, what's it called? The www.holamijasbonitas.com.
Ramos says the timing was perfect. As the pandemic rolled in, she took a risk and quit her job. She launched her designs online with a name she says everyone could understand.
Mijas, for me in English, I say, hello, beautiful daughters. That's what it means in English. So, you know, in Latinos, we say like mijas as, you know, for our daughters, or mijos for our sons, like as a way of saying daughter and son, or like pumpkin.
And just like that, Millie, Rosa, Lisbeth, Amber, Isa, and Claudia were born.
I want to highlight these characters and showing different skin tone colors, that we are beautiful and we need to be seen.
Her home office, reflecting her loud personality, allowed Ramos to spend time with her daughter and her husband, but also inspires her to keep creating, like the launch of her next project, Hola Mijos.
One time this lady came up to me and she was like, because I have an Afro-Latina character, and she literally grabbed one of the pens and she put it down her chest, and she like was emotional. She had like a tear in her eye and she's like, this looks like me.
Hola Mijas Bonitas have taken off with a variety of products, including stickers, notepads, and pins. Ramos says it's a dream she'd never thought would become a reality.
It all started off with just one little character, out of something that I didn't see myself, and I decided to create it, and now I'm here in front of you talking about my brand. So it really means a lot. This is just a moment, and just to tell my parents, thank you for everything.
A first-generation graduate from El Salvador, now making waves with these tiny faces, and even I got a makeover for this story.
Now I'm my own boss, and I get to do what I love.
We want to thank you for watching The Rundown. You can always get news and weather updates on the NBCLA app and on our website, NBCLA.com. And be sure to tune in to Today in LA on NBC4 weekdays from 4 to 7 a.m. We'll see you here next time on The Rundown.